It is everyone's favorite segment, Soundbite. Please forget what Soundbite is. It is where Steve and I react to different interviews, post-game clips. If something happens that we want to take a listen to, we listen. This past Sunday, NBA All-Star Weekend, Draymond Green sounded off against the new format, saying he hates it and it is unfair to NBA All-Stars in leagues past. So let's take a listen to Draymond Green and hear what he has to say.
Some team that no one wants to see.
Oh, man.
I had to work so hard to play on Sunday night of All-Star Weekend. And because ratings are down, because the game's bad, we're bringing in Rising Stars. That's not a fix. I never played in the Rising Stars game. My first 2 years, I didn't touch that game. And these guys get to touch the All-Star floor on Sunday night? Like when the floor is the floor? You know, in America, the president has Air Force One, right?
Yeah.
They have several of those planes. It's only Air Force One if the president's on it. That's the All-Star floor. You have the court, you have the events. It's a nice looking court. When the All-Stars are on the court, now it's the All-Star court. Those guys did not make the All-Star team. To be playing in the All-Star game and you did not make the All-Star team is absurd.
So there you have it. That was Draymond Green talking about the new All-Star format and what he thinks of the Rising Stars being involved. Hard to tell how he feels. I don't know. I couldn't really get a gauge. Steve, your reaction to Draymond and your thoughts on the All-Star game format.
I mean, first and foremost, I'll be honest, I am not a Draymond Green fan. So everyone that's about to listen to this, take that into consideration. All right. I think Draymond's I think Draymond's just being petty, to be quite frank with you. Like, the league's attempting to find new ways to make the All-Star weekend more watchable, more engaging for fans, right? The All-Star game has not meant what it once meant in nearly 2 freaking decades, man. Like, it is coming up on, like, I remember watching AI dunking on guys and Kobe crossing people, and there used to be some tenacity. There was pride you were playing for when you played in the All-Star game. They've been disrespecting the All-Star game for quite some time, in my opinion, and it hasn't been the same. So Draymond saying that that's disrespectful to guys in leagues past, yeah, so is how these guys have been playing for the last few seasons. So I don't want to hear him talking about making a team of guys to try something new, playing on the same court, comparing Air Force One and the legitimacy of the president being on it to the All-Star court. Like, stop it. This isn't something that's earth-moving, earth-shattering. It doesn't mean that it's taking away from the guys who made the All-Star team, because they still get that title. The title of All-Star is way more meaningful than playing on a court as an All-Star. We don't look back at, 30 years later at their legacy and say, oh man, that was dumb because those guys played on the same court at the same night. Like, it's just dumb.
I agree that Draymond sounds petty and jealous. I mean, you can tell right off the rip when he first starts talking, like, I never was in the Rising Stars, or I had to work hard to be on Sunday night. And I respect all that. And I also agree that the All-Star game has been on the downward spiral for quite some time. I mean, it hasn't been the traditional East versus West for the last, 5-ish years?
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 years, something like that. And I say all that to say this. Draymond Green is right.
What did you say? What the fuck did you just say?
Draymond Green actually makes some pretty good points. The problem with the All-Star game, or the reason that the NBA has changed the format, is to get more people watching, to get the competition up, and to get it back to what it used to be. I think this format was the breaking point. I think that if you want to get back to the old All-Star game, like how it used to feel, then bring back the old All-Star game. And I know that the league was having issues with the competitiveness and the viewership when it was still the old format. But after all this time, and after all these changes, and after all the negative feedback that has come year after year, like it seems like every single year the all-star feedback gets worse. So if you are hearing that there is no, correct way to fix it, and that you have to resort to doing gimmicks of like nobody watches the celebrity game. Nobody cares about the celebrity game, and just like the All-Star game getting worse, the celebrity game, the longer it goes on, the less noteworthy celebrities play and participate in that game. So it's like you're adding with the Rising Stars. It's like you're adding a celebrity game type of vibe to the All-Star game because like nobody wants to watch those guys play. And like Draymond said, the actual All-Star should beat those guys in their sleep. So how that is increasing views, I have no idea. The All-Star game, like we say a lot of what stuff matters and doesn't matter when we're talking about legacies. Obviously, number of All-Stars is a factor. All-Star game MVP depends who you ask. But the point of it is that we have set this criteria. We have this precedent of that the All-Star game, like Draymond said, Sunday night is the All-Star game. You know that Sunday is for all the fun fan stuff. Friday's everything extra. Sunday is the premier event. What the NBA has done recently makes Sunday feel more like a Saturday or a Friday. And I do agree with Draymond that the Sunday game should be sacred in a sense of we are professional athletes in the pinnacle of our sport. We have been now known as the best of the best. The All-Star game was known as like the greatest pickup game of all time because it was bringing all those guys together to show you the best basketball. It has gotten away from that and gone to more who can give you the best show. And while I appreciate that from a viewership entertainment standpoint, that's what the players, or at least for me, like the sanctity of things like the All-Star game. And like as soon as you start diminishing the value of things and taking away the shine, no one's going to take it seriously either. Nobody gives a shit about the Pro Bowl. Nobody ever did. Nobody ever will. Because the Pro Bowl isn't an All-Star game. The Pro Bowl is kind of like one big NBA Saturday. But the All-Star game is the All-Star game. It is when you can actually watch what it is meant to be. And I think the NBA at one point in time had the best standards of what an All-Star weekend in sports should be like. So if they don't care, the players don't care, you take away the specialness, the uniqueness, the why it matters-ness of the All-Star game, and this is what you're going to get. You're an All-Star. You earned it. Play a good game. Hold it high. Like you want to have those multiple runs and multiple years of your career of being an NBA All-Star. So if nobody cares, then why should players care?
I do agree that having these guys on the court the same night as the All-Stars, it is not tasteful. It's distasteful. It doesn't sit right. But I don't think it is tarnishing, like he said. What I'm trying to say is it's not just this year that they have not treated the All-Star game right. Regardless of having these guys on the court the same night, the gimmick of playing to Kobe's jersey number and the first to that wins the game, right? Or the last 5 minutes of the game are the most important or something like they have been doing things for years now that to me have been much more, what the heck is this? Yes, right. Adding these guys to the same court on the same night is weird, and it was a bad idea. But to me, it doesn't disrespect those other guys because they still have the title of All-Star. The idea itself is bad. It's just he sounds petty because he's acting like the NBA hasn't been disrespecting this game for the last 5-6 years. This might be the pinnacle of poor choice making, but it, like you said at the beginning, the straw that broke the camel's back, this is just the icing on the cake for people. But it's not, in the grand scheme of things, he's acting as if this is brand new. It's just not.
But it is brand new because while the NBA has, yes, done different formats over the last few years, this is not the first time they've done something new. It's the first time Sunday has been tainted. It's like a line you don't cross.
It's a bad tradition. It is a bad tradition.
Correct. That's the word I could. Yeah.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.